guys, it's Lilly May coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada.
And it's LindaRose coming to you live from Maine.
I am super excited for today's episode. We have some great things planned. We have a Thanksgiving special segment planned today and an amazing interview as well.
Yeah, and I feel like I say this about every single interview when I say, oh, it's one of my favorite interviews I've ever done, but it's so true. Every single interview has just truly been amazing. And I think it's hard to really place my finger on one that was my favorite.
Absolutely. Today we are airing an interview we did with Corinna, the owner of Uprising Bakery. We had never interviewed a baker before on the show, so it was so cool to get to interview her.
Yeah, and throughout the interview, you see some stuff that she does at her bakery, and it is some of the most heartwarming things ever. And throughout the interview, you'll also hear us talk about some struggles she's had with outside forces, and it just the way she deals with it, the way her bakery deals with it, and how everyone just comes together is really amazing. And I'm really excited for you guys to witness it.
Yes, absolutely. She has such an inspiring story. And before we air the interview, I wanted to go ahead and take a second to give a big congratulations to LindaRose. She was able to skip past freshman basketball and went straight to JV. It's such an amazing accomplishment, and we're so proud of her.
Yes, thank you. I was like scared. And we had our first practice today because we practice Monday through Saturday. I'm sore. Not sure. I love basketball. Love it. My legs do not love it so much. So I'm pretty sure by the end of the season, I'm gonna be dead. I'm gonna be brainwashed.
Oh no! Well, still, congratulations for making the JV team.
Thank you.
So we're gonna go ahead and air this interview now. Make sure to stay tuned for the end of the episode where we will air the Thanksgiving special. Hey, Corinna, thank you so much for coming on today to do this interview with us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So for the first question tonight, I was wondering if you could introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your bakery, Uprising Bakery.
So my name's Corinna Sack, and I own Uprising. We're just a small bakery here in Illinois. We are focused on providing equality for all in the dietary area. So we do a lot of gluten-free, vegan, keto, and traditional. And we make sure everyone has all the same options as well as paying the same price. So that's kind of where our bakery is. And like lately we've been thrown into a whole realm of LGBTQ and everything like that too.
Yes, it's such an important thing to talk about. I know we wanted to talk to you a little bit more about that later on in the interview. And it's so cool how you guys work to make your bakery and stuff inclusive to all people. I know I have a lot of friends who are gluten-free and stuff, and it can be sometimes hard to find different substitutes and stuff. So that's so great.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't our initial goal to do that, but out here where we are in Illinois, you don't really get options like that. And so when people were just asking us at farmers markets or getting random emails for birthday cakes, I went to school for baking, so I have somewhat of a knowledge for it. And I'm also a yes person. So if I have the time to do it, I always said yes to people. And I just kind of learned how to do all of that for everyone. And it just kind of turned into that.
Yeah, I know. Cool. Having the gluten-free part is super important to me because my grandmother, who's also our editor, has systemic sclerosis. Okay. and she's gluten-free, and finding stuff that's gluten-free that like tastes good and it's not like rubbery or something is so hard for her, especially because she can't eat a lot of stuff anyways because of her systemic sclerosis. So, like, that means so much to me that you guys have that option, because a lot of bakeries around where we live just don't have that option. Yes. And if they do, it's either so much more, it's like so much more expensive, or it just isn't the best tasting.
Yeah.
It's just a different, it's made differently, and some people don't know how to cook it or make it. So it's just like, that means so much to me that you guys have that, because like, it's just a really, because my grandmother's like my best friend, and she like kind of took over when me and my dad were struggling. So like seeing stuff like that is like so important to me, and I'm just like so happy that you guys have that option.
Yeah, me too. And that's something we hear a lot from the community. And as people are kind of discovering us still, even though we've been in business since 2017, however long that has been. So it's something that we hear a lot, and that's what keeps us going and creating and trying to come up with new ways to make it even better than we have in the past. And then that, starting with the gluten-free, leading into vegan, and cutting out like all the animal products, and still trying to find a way to make the gluten-free taste just as good, but also eliminating the eggs and dairy and stuff. So it's been a learning curve, but we're really happy with where we're at with it, and the community is loving it, and we're providing something for people who don't usually get options and quality and affordability. And so that's kind of what we're trying to do with the bakery.
And I think, I mean, as I mentioned so many times already in the short span I've been talking, that is like, having gluten-free is like an important thing to me. And I want to know what the most important part about your bakery is to you.
For me, it's creating a home away from home atmosphere and having food that everyone is going to like. So for me, when I go into a bakery or a coffee shop or a restaurant, I want to feel like this is a cool place. I feel comfortable, but I can also have fun here. So that's kind of the atmosphere I try to put into the bakery and cafe. And that's my favorite part of it too, is just kind of creating like a gathering place. And then creating good food that tricks people. That's my favorite. And that's what I really, really love to do, is the menu creation and the cake decorating. So I love when a vegan customer brings in an omnivore customer, and they dine in together, and we hear comments about how you would never know that Monte Cristo was vegan, or tasted just like they thought it should have tasted, or those kinds of things. That gets my thrills every single day.
Wow, that was such a cool response. And I know I was looking through your guys' Instagram and stuff, and all of your guys' bakery stuff and everything, it looks so good. And I was wanting to go ahead and ask you, what sparked the idea to start a bakery?
It just is what it is. It just happened. I worked in bakeries when I was in high school, and I went into college for baking, and my internships were all baking. So it just kind of has been what I've done ever since I was little. And then I had the choice of doing forensic anthropology or baking. Forensic anthropology had a 12-year or more college course load, and I said no. Baking was a 2.5 year. So that's what I did, and it's what I'm good at, and it's what I'm passionate about.
Wow, that's amazing. And it's always so interesting how people got into their career paths. I really love getting to hear your response for that.
Absolutely. Now,
go ahead.
You can go. You can go. It's fine.
Well, it was, like I said, for me, it was very much natural. I think cooking kind of runs in the family. No one is a chef, but we all just enjoy being in the kitchen. And we all kind of encourage each other. So I was encouraged from a young age by family to just follow my dreams. And then it also was a coping mechanism I found for my depression in my teenage years. And so that's why I decided to find a job during high school in baking. And then since then, it's It's a stress reliever, even though it's a very stressful job to own a bakery. So it's kind of like an oxymoron, but it helps a lot. And it's also just like that creative outlet for me, which I need in order to stay sane and depression free and all of that.
Absolutely. Our creative outlets are so helpful and stuff. I know music has been my creative outlet for the longest time, and it's so cool that baking is yours.
Yeah, thank you.
I agree with you. If they told me that it was 12 plus years for a career, I don't know if I'd be able to do that. Like, I don't know if that'd be my thing, but I do know that my family is Polish. It's where my like whole family is from on my dad's side, and baking is a way that we connect. It's like because I don't speak Polish very well, and most of my family speaks Polish, especially my babci, which is grandma. My babci speaks Polish, and she's not the best in English. So in the kitchen is kind of how me and her connect more, since it's hard to have a full conversation with each other. So I wanted to know what baking means to you. What it just like, does it make you happy? Like, just kind of what it means to you.
Yeah, so for me, it started as just kind of a coping mechanism. I was very depressed and had a lot of anxiety and was bullied a lot and had a pretty tough upbringing. So in my teenage years, it was really hard for me to just like cope with life. And I was institutionalized for a little while for suicidal attempts and stuff. And that was something that the therapist and I found. It was that and painting and music. So that's just what stuck for me. So for me, it's just a way to be centered and to be happy. And I connect with my daughter, you know, through it, and I'm passionate about it, but I also just really, truly enjoy it. You know, I work 16 to 19-hour days, 7 days a week. And I don't think any human can do that unless you really love what you're doing. So I just know that it's like the right path for me is to be baking and cake decorating and creating menus and, well, not a full menu, 'cause I don't like that, but creating menu items and new dishes. So it just is like one of those things that you know is right in your soul. For me. And then I try to bring my children into it. And, you know, there's some baking that goes on in the family. We're Finnish for the most part. So there's, you know, we bond over that a little bit around the holidays and stuff. But otherwise, I'm the baker of the family. And it just brings me a lot of happiness. It's kind of like my safe space is when I'm in the kitchen and when I'm baking. And even though, like I said, it's very stressful to own a business, especially with everything that's been going on our last year, it is the biggest stress relief I have is to be in the kitchen just baking.
I think having something that you like, just like, you know, like for me, like something I know that's just like right is doing anything that includes the word sports in it. Like basketball, considered a sport, like anything that's considered a sport, I love. It's a big stress reliever for me, especially if it's like softball. I love because I get to hit things, and I get to throw the ball hard, and fast, which is a big stress reliever for me. So my dad used to play baseball, and that's how me and my dad connect a lot is through sports. And like sports is something I just know is like what I'm gonna want to do for like ever, because it's just a good stress reliever for me.
Exactly, you just know it.
And it's definitely so important to find something that you love and stick with it. And I loved getting to hear your response to that too. I wanted to go ahead and switch gears for the interview. I know that your bakery holds the best events, and I was scrolling through your Instagram and stuff, and it's so cool to see the events that you hold. I was wondering if you could talk to us a bit about how you brainstorm for new ideas for those events.
So for us, we just all kind of meet as a team, and I talk to the servers and see, they're, you know, 10 to 11 years younger than me. And not that I'm old, I'm only 31, but I have kids. So I work and I'm home with them. I'm not out there learning and seeing what everyone is up to. So for me, I am asking the staff and I'm saying, like, what are people out there doing? What would bring you in? What would bring you and your friends in? What would bring you and your mom in, or something like that? So that's kind of how we brainstorm. And then we reach out to the local people who do those things. So whether it's like a paint and sip, a drag show, live music, we reach out to local people who do that. Because we want to support other locals and small businesses while we're trying to figure our stuff out as well. But that's, for the most part, that's what we do, is we all just kind of think of what would bring us out, what would we enjoy doing, and then we throw that together.
Wow, that's so cool. And I always love getting to hear about local businesses supporting other local businesses and stuff. It's so cool.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I think especially like small businesses, or like Lilly said, local businesses, like supporting each other is a big thing, especially since if you're both trying to grow, having like an event together can make you grow even more, because the people that go to one business can then go to the other and vice versa. So I think it's just like, I think that's just an amazing way, especially to connect and have friends from different businesses. And especially if you're brand new to the business, you can, like, to having a business and to having a bakery per se, you can, like, it's just easier to know what to do, to have an ally like that can help you.
Right. And
I wanted to know, going on the topic as events, what was your favorite event that you guys have held at your bakery?
Well, I don't know. We've had a lot. The drag shows, honestly, are a lot of fun. It's just a different event. It's a different type of energy. The paint and sips I love because and some of them are really surprising, and I love that. And people just surprise themselves. I have to say some of my favorite music, because we have some that go on where local music teachers will invite their students out to play, since like recitals and stuff aren't happening because of COVID. Those students can come and play at the cafe for their parents, for the community, wherever. It's just like a laid back thing, and they just sit in a chair and play whatever song that they want. And we just had one that was Halloween themed. Everyone dressed up, all playing. Everyone was so supportive and fun, and just seeing like all these little monsters and ghouls, and they're up there playing Smoke on the Water or Ode to Joy. Like, it just made my heart melt, seeing all the kids up there doing their thing and being comfortable, and then hearing like all the applause. It just filled the whole cafe. That had to have been one of my favorites, just because of how heartfelt it was. It actually made me cry a little bit. But from a fun aspect, definitely the drag show, a very hype energy that I love.
Wow, that's so cool. And I love getting to hear about the event that you did with the people coming up and playing music. That is so cool. And I know that I found your bakery through a TikTok about the drag events that you host. And it's so sad to see some of the negative reactions from people from it. I was wondering if you could talk to us a little bit about how you've been dealing with the negativity from people.
To be honest, all of the LGBTQ community and the local community members as a whole, just that's like bakery or like us, seeing all of them come out and their positive words of affirmations and or their support with buying stuff, or their little gifts that they're bringing us, that all meant love. And those are the things that keep us going, because the negativity is still here. We're getting harassed and protested every day. It's been, I believe, we're on day 106 now, consecutive. So it's like, it's there, it's wearing on us. But at the same time, we're having a consistent flow of positivity coming through our doors. And we're seeing the same people come in and bringing new people, or new people just hearing about us. And that's giving us power and strength to continue to do what we want, which is stand up for what we believe in, allow us to be us. And I think that's really important, and it has meant a lot to all me and my staff.
Yes, it's so cool. It's so disappointing to hear about what was going on, but it's so great to hear that the LGBTQ plus community in your area came together to help support you guys. That is amazing.
It really has been. Now we're getting kind of used to the ebbs and flows and stuff like that, starting to get back to giving back to the community. So we're able to go to like our Pride Fest again and sponsor some of the events, and kind of reciprocate that love back to the community through like our donations of day-old goodies, or like I said, sponsoring events. And we're doing a lot of charity work where we're just sending pastries for all kinds of different parties and gatherings and stuff. So it feels nice to be able to reciprocate it as well.
Yeah, I think it's really important to, even though there is negativity, to make sure that you're still staying true to what you believe in and kind of what you, not really like leaning over like, oh, maybe they're right. Like, I think it's really important to stay strong in yourself, especially since in like today now, I think that peer pressure is such a huge thing. And I think a lot of people fall into it. So I think staying strong into what you believe in is a really important thing.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that when one person stands up, other people will see that, and then they will feel empowered to stand up and to feel strong and fight for what they believe in as well, whether it's, you know, on the opposing side or not. Everyone has that ability and right to stand up for what they believe in. And I do feel like we're on the right side, and I hope that more people will start standing up for it and being more vocal, so we can continue to see these really positive changes in society.
Yes, absolutely. That's something here on Orchid Times we feel really strongly about. It's so important to be loud and speak up for what you believe in.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you, Corinna, so much for coming on. I know that you kind of have to get off in about 2-ish minutes. But thank you so much for coming on and spending some time with us. This was an amazing interview, and I think you did absolutely insane. And I'm very, very happy that you guys, like I said earlier, the gluten-free options, getting into the vegan everything, I think it's such a big thing that needs to happen more, especially not raising the price too much or even keeping it the same. I think is really important. So thank you so much for even coming up with that idea.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you both for having me on.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you again so much for coming on. This was such a great interview. I had so much fun getting to talk to you and hear a little bit more about your experience with your bakery and get to hear a little bit more about everything. So thank you again.
All right. Thank you so much. I look forward to it. Have a great evening.
You too. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Don't wait for tomorrow. No, I won't give it a break. Don't need to beg, steal, or borrow. Watch me as I walk this way. I'm busy building an empire. Don't really care what they say. I'm only here for a good time. Drown 'em out like now I'm gonna stay. Not to the matter. Take control. All my visions are set in stone. Don't kill my fire. I'm flawless by design. Can't change my mind. Got too much on the line. Won't waste my time. You better recognize. Don't kill my vibe. I'm feeling so alive. I was born for this. Born for this. I was born for this. Born for this. I wasn't promised forever, but I'll be fighting for more.
Wow, that was such a powerful interview, and I was so honored to get to talk with her for a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that, especially if you guys haven't yet, make sure you guys go visit her social media and follow the Uprising Bakery social medias, just because what they're doing is amazing. And especially one thing that stood out to me in that whole entire interview that was really, really important to me was the drag shows. And because I know that drag queens or people that do drag have a really, really hard time in the world that we live in because of how critical people are and how mean they can be. And I know that's a huge struggle. So I think that them doing those drag shows are so, so, so important, because I think that it's a really, really hard. I know that they have a hard time because I know a few people that do drag, and I know that how hard it can be for them. And I think that giving them that opportunity, especially at the bakery, is so important to me, especially since, like I said, I do know a few people that do drag, and I know how much they would love to have a place like that where I live.
Yes, absolutely. They host the coolest events, and just that bakery is so inspiring. So before we go ahead and show the Thanksgiving special segment, we had a few different announcements to make. So we're going to be starting up a entrepreneur thing on our page where we are going to be promoting female entrepreneurs. We have a few people to start promoting, but if you guys have a business or a craft or something, please send us your websites. We would love to promote your business and stuff.
And this isn't like you have to apply to do it type thing. If you have a business that you want us to promote on our page, just send us your website or whatever. We'll look it over, and most likely, like 100%, they're going to post it on our page and promote you.
Absolutely. And next week, we're going to be doing our book discussion episode. So this month, we've been reading the book Because I Was a Girl by Lilly Cruz. This book is so powerful. I'm almost done reading it, and it's amazing. So make sure you guys tune in next week to see our discussion on that and our opinions on the book, too. And make sure to start sending your Q&A questions as well, because we'll be doing a little segment next week, too.
And if you're reading the book along with us, or even if you aren't and you have questions about the book or questions you think you'll have, make sure you send those in as well, because we're going to answer them. We also look at the comments when we're on our this episode, we're on our Q&A episodes too. So we'll most likely reply to the ones you put in the comments as well.
Yes. And I'm also going to be doing a after show music live today, so I would love it if you could join me. And we're going to go ahead and air the Thanksgiving special episode. Now, I just wanted to warn you guys, I did put some of my really old piano music covers, so they're not perfect, but I really love the song. So just be warned of that.
There are some pictures in there of me when I was really young, and I have a big forehead, okay? I'm not ashamed of it. I love my forehead, but my forehead, I didn't grow hair for a really, really long time. Okay, so like it was still coming in when I was like 6, and I have a big forehead, okay? So the pictures in there, I'm giving Megamind, but it's okay because they are amazing and they're really funny, and I give everyone full permission to laugh at them because me and my grandmother were laughing at them so much. And I was only laughing at them because how big my forehead was. But it's great. I love it.
Yeah, some of the pictures that I put in there are kind of funny too, but they're really cool. So I was just excited to get to share them. I hope you guys enjoy this Thanksgiving special episode, and I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving tomorrow too.
So one of my favorite memories about Thanksgiving is, and just about spending time with loved ones in general, was making these little tiny pies, these little tiny apple pies. They weren't more than maybe that big around, but Mom she would sit me and my brother Evan down, and she'd show us how to do this, show us how to do everything step by step, cutting apples, making that crumbly topping for it. And every time they turned out wonderful. And I cling to those moments. I savor those moments a lot. And even now, I'll still make some of those pies sometimes, just like how Mom taught us. And I'm thankful for her, and I'm thankful for all of you.
I'm making an apple muffin.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and to everyone in Orchid Times land. This year, I am so grateful for LindaRose and Lilly May, and I'm so proud of them for all of the amazing things they've been doing on both season 1 and season 2 of Orchid Times. I'm looking forward to even a season 3 and beyond. I am so grateful for our entire community at Tardan Media and at Cosmos Creative Television, and to all of the fans in the community. All of you make it possible. Here's to live interactive television, and here's to 2023. Thank you, everybody.